Hello everyone. Today I have been challenged to figure out what is the best truck in Farming Simulator 22. I've downloaded 50 mods off of various websites. Actually 70 mods. However, 20 of those mods didn't work or failed in some way once I started trying to use them. So we have 50 mods left, and what we're going to do, as I'm demonstrating here with my Jeep, is we're going to go through the rock crawl course, which I have modified quite a bit to incorporate a few new challenges for us. So the first challenge is, can the vehicle make it through the entire course without getting stuck? Now it can fail, but as long as it can get itself out, then it's fine and we'll allow it to proceed. If it does fail, we're going to keep it exactly where it stays. So it's probably going to get pretty chaotic. Now I've placed a few cranes in here, the Volvo machinery with the Traverse mod off of ModHub, to move vehicles if they are stuck in a way that is going to inhibit the next vehicle from getting across the course. So what we'll do is we'll get this Jeep through the course just to kind of show what the course looks like, and then we're going to take each truck one by one and we'll take it through each part of the course. And I've broken down the course into 4 sections. The first section is the first part of the rock crawl, where you will get from the first start point to the finish point, and that's what we're looking at here right now with my Jeep. You'll see it's pretty challenging. You've got some obstacles you're going to need to be able to get around. Obviously I should probably point out that I've put bigger tires on the Jeep just to make this easier, because I wanted the Jeep to be able to make it in one go. Just because visually it would have been really bad if the Jeep didn't even make it through. So after the first part, where we go through this kind of outdoorsy area, there's what looks like a cave that we'll go through. And in that cave we will go around some caverns and some ravines, and we'll kind of get to a point. I'm kind of stuck here. We'll get this out there. There we go. So we'll get to a point through the cave where there's going to be some tricky parts, but the vehicles that make it through that will proceed on to the next phase, and that final phase, or that next phase rather, is to be able to tow ridiculously heavy equipment. So I've actually asked Reddit what they believe is the heaviest equipment in Farming Simulator 22, and I've gotten various answers. So we're going to use all of the suggestions that I was given on Reddit, and these suggestions include a sugar beet harvester, fully loaded with sugar beets, the forestry equipment, because that's all very heavy, a mother bin, fully loaded, also very heavy, as well as my personal favorite and the absolute heaviest thing in the game, the FDR equipment. The FDR equipment, it's not even close how heavy this stuff is. So we're going to see how great towing machines each of these trucks are by forcing them to tow that equipment not only on a flat plane but up a pretty steep hill, and whatever makes it furthest up the hill gets the most points. Now after we finish that, we'll then take each of the vehicles towing a fully loaded mother bin, and we're going to go across a very bumpy track. And what we'll do there is we'll set enhanced vehicle controls to straight, so perfectly straight with that. We'll set cruise control at max speed, and we'll just see how far down the track the vehicle can go towing a mother bin until it falls off the track. So in case you haven't used enhanced vehicle controls, when you lock it in, what happens is it actually keeps your vehicle perfectly straight. However, if the road is bumpy, it can veer off course, and enhanced will try to correct it back on the original course. If it's bumpy enough, or if the vehicle can't kind of tow it well enough, the vehicle will go completely off course. So we'll be looking for that to see what's going to be the best vehicle here. Now the course is pretty long, so that is why this video all in is going to be about 7 hours total. I've broken it up into parts to make it easier, and I'm going to put tracks in so this way anybody can jump to wherever they want to. I originally was going to do this as a time lapse. However, I had two problems with that. The first is to do Steadicam. I have a second PC. It's my older gaming PC. It's got a it's pretty well spec'd. It's got a 2060 on it. That PC, when I brought it on this map, in this multiplayer session, that PC got 2 frames per second. Or yeah, 2 FPS. So didn't really make for a good video. Most of the things didn't even render in, and a lot of that has to do with these mods. So if you haven't tried to use some of these more intense vehicle mods, they're big files. They're several hundred megabytes. They're very detailed. Some of them have some serious errors. Some of them are going to have issues that cause frame per second drop. Hence why I dropped about 20 mods completely off the list. There were some that even my main gaming PC, which is very strong, it's got a 3080 in it, it's an i7, got about 64 gigs of RAM. It's a beast. It couldn't even handle some of those mods. So what we did is we removed any of the crazy mods, but even with these mods that work very well on this PC, my other PC could not handle them at all, so couldn't do any Steadicam. The second problem that I had is that you'll notice the camera jumps a bit, and if you speed that up in any sense, it looks pretty jarring, and I didn't want that to cause any issues for anybody. I also wanted the audio. So you'll hear throughout this, you'll hear the vehicles that have kind of really good exhaust sounds. I wanted to keep those in as well. And I wanted to have commentary this time because I felt like this was a very fun challenge, and it's going to be a good time. You're going to see some really interesting stuff with this, and I think it's going to be good to kind of hear my reactions. So that's the first part of the challenge complete with the Jeep. We'll go into the second part. Like I said, here we have kind of a cave that we go into. We've got some interesting obstacles, very narrow paths. So this is what makes it extra challenging, because you essentially, if you want to do this map well, you really need bigger tires for the first part. But if you have too big of a tire for this part, it's a challenge. So a vehicle that can do all of this as well as tow, in my opinion, is going to be perfect. And I know we haven't yet looked at the trucks because we really wanted to show off just how intense this truck's going to be and just what we're going to be doing here. And like I said, there are jumps in the description, and you should see them throughout the video, where you can kind of jump right into whichever vehicle you want to see at each part. So again, instead of a time lapse, I just felt this was kind of going to be a lot better for us here, a lot more interactive. Now this part here is quite interesting. We've got a cavern, and this cavern's actually deep enough that it will instantly total your vehicle. So if you do fall off, pretty much whatever vehicle falls off here is going to get kicked out. And as I mentioned, whatever the vehicle lands, if it can't move under its own power to get out of that position, we're just going to leave it where it is, and we'll kind of get around it. So these will be more or less elimination rounds. I imagine most of the trucks won't even make it through the first part, and then we'll probably lose some in here as well. And then during the towing challenge, we'll probably lose whatever's left, because it's a very heavy towing challenge. Most of the stuff probably shouldn't be towed, and I've lost it. I'm just kind of rocking in place here. Yeah. All right, there we go. So, as you can see, the Jeep's able to make it on its own without having to be towed or using super strength or anything like that. So this would kind of allow it to proceed. We wouldn't disqualify this part. Also very tricky again, kind of narrow, kind of steep. We've got to kind of figure out our path. Very much like real rock crawling. Have to kind of figure out what's the best approach through all of those. While we're at it, I really got to give a shout out to Alien Jim for this. This is by far a masterpiece for Farming Simulator. I've used this map a lot for testing things in the past, testing different mods and setting things up for some videos, and it's incredible what he's been able to pull off here with, it's essentially, you know, usually a farming game, but we tend to all have a lot of fun with this game and push it to its limits. So this is a great example of what the game can do. Big shout out to Giants as well for putting this particular mod out for all consoles, PCs, everything along those lines. So it's great that they allowed us to do these types of things. This Jeep also, and I've used this in I don't know, hundreds of videos at this point. It's utterly fantastic. It's been by far, so far, my favorite vehicle in the game. It just does everything. It's even got hidden features such as it can do auto load pallets. Yep, it's okay. It's not deep enough for me to get totaled in, so that's good at least. It can auto load pallets and different equipment into it, so you can use it as a transport vehicle. It's got an unrealistic capacity of up to 100,000 liters, so it's great if you just need to bring all your production stuff to the sell point or something along those lines. It's also got a tremendous amount of tires, and I really enjoy it. It's not that it hasn't been without some glitches. If you saw some of my videos where we were trying to tow a mother bin with this in Ohio, we definitely ran into some issues where we more or less broke the axle and it kind of shot through the vehicle. But it still did it. It towed a fully loaded mother bin to the sell point from a field, and we used the mother bin as an auger wagon in that video, so live towing it next to a tractor and a harvester, and it actually did it, which was really impressive. We thought it was going to get stuck and not be able to pull the weight. This is another part here, very challenging, very narrow. It's going to be pretty intimidating. I plan to do this challenge at least once in full in first person as well, just because I feel like it's a lot scarier when you do this in first person. Doing this here in third person, just so this way you guys can kind of see the whole track. You can see the end of the line down there at the bottom. And as we get there, what we'll see as we come up there as well is we'll see I've got all of the equipment for towing already set up. I've set up multiples of each. I didn't really necessarily know how many vehicles would make it that far, so if we need more, we'll spawn some more in, or reset them or whatever we need to do, but I wanted to at least get enough that I didn't have to keep buying them and setting them up each time. Overall setup for this, it's not always as easy as it looks. The overall setup for this, I spent about 15 hours setting up this map and testing things to make sure that this video would even work. So this has been by far my most intense video to create, and all in recorded, it's about 7 hours. So this is going to be very, very intense here, but like I said, it's good content, and I feel like it's going to answer some really good questions that everyone's been asking. Constantly get asked when we see really cool mods is, will this mod come to console? Is it really that good? And so a lot of the console folks don't get to try out some of these mods, so I wanted to give that all a chance. And I really just wanted to kind of push the limits and see. So you can see all the equipment we're going to be possibly towing. Down here, I'm just going to take this TLX trailer, 50-foot trailer with my tractor here. This is a modified version of the tractor I usually use. This is the one that has TREX, so it's a little bit heavier. And so we'll see kind of how this looks here. What they'll do is they'll tow it down the straights. I'll have some sort of weigh station so I can talk about how heavy everything is. And then there's a pretty intense hill up here that I found, and it seems to be really good for testing this out because it's a gradual slope and then it gets really, really steep. So coming around the other side of the track here, and that's the hill on the right. So when we get to this part with the trucks, they will have to tow the heavy weight up this slight incline that goes into a very, very steep incline. So this will kind of separate exactly how powerful the vehicle is, but it'll give it a little bit of an incline to go up. So that's the steepest part there. The rest of this is relatively flat. Now, there is a bit more to the challenge, so we'll kind of see that coming in over into the right-hand side. I'm not going to show that just yet, because that part, it's more or less just kind of figuring out how well the vehicle does at bumps and terrain and everything along those lines. So I'm going to just kind of skip that for now, and we'll come back to that when we get to that part in the video. And I think that's going to be a really interesting challenge for some of these. So we've jumped over, we've dropped the trailer, and over here on this side of the map I've got all of the trucks placed. This is also probably why the frame rate issue was so tough for the other PC. We'll use third person interchangeably with first person here for myself, and the reason for that is just because I feel like it provides better visuals in some aspects. So we'll see as we come up here, we've got a lot of trucks. So there's about 50. I've got various mods. I've also got variants of the same mod in some cases, just because I feel like the tires made a difference on some of these and some of the engines and things along those lines. So we're going to try some of those out as well. We're going to start just in each line. We're just going to go from right to left, looking as we are from camera here. And so we'll start with this one here, which those of you that have watched our live streams over on PeterTheFarmer Plus, you'll notice this was Storm's truck for a while when we were doing New Jersey and when we started in the upper Mississippi River Valley. I always made fun of it because I felt it was really tiny. You can see that here. It's a good model, don't get me wrong, but it is very tiny. And I remember anytime I hooked up any type of weight to it, it didn't do so well. So take off in this, and we'll go this way. And I just remember there's actually no way to cross that there. That's pretty deep, so we'll go around that actually. Alright, so with each vehicle we'll kind of go around this way first, and the idea here is just to kind of see how quick they are, how well they handle this turn at relative speed, see if they slide at all or anything along those lines, and then we'll kind of drive into the track. Now the first challenge for a lot of these, that first part, is really just going to be how they articulate their wheels. So this is where the suspension's really going to come into play. And you'll see a big difference in a lot of these mods where the suspension's either going to be able to do it or it's just not going to do well at all. So let's try out this one first. It seems to handle so far so good. Hasn't slid really yet, but we'll see how it does on this part of the course. Yeah, it's stuck. All right. So maybe we can make it up. We kind of go on an angle. All right, now it's completely stuck. Yeah, can't even go in reverse. All right, so maybe I was right to make fun of that. Let's move on to the next one. So here we have what looks like an older Dodge pickup truck. And this one's pretty cool looking. It's got some pretty good lift to it. Takes off very, very well. And let's see how it takes the turn. Oh, it's very fast through there. Brakes pretty good. It's got this weird kind of issue. Notice I'm not really holding the brakes anymore, but it's kind of hesitating to pick up again. I did check frame rates, so I am not lagging or anything along those lines. So if you do see the vehicle kind of lags in any way, shape, or form, could be the way that the transmission's set up in the mod. If a vehicle makes it far enough and I notice an issue, and I do notice an issue with the mod or anything along those lines, I'll kind of dive into that as we get there. I did find when I was testing just a few glitches on some, but they ended up being models that I couldn't use anyway. So we'll see if we kind of find anything else here. So here again, it's kind of hesitating. It's got this weird thing. I'm at full throttle, and it's not really taking off like it did before. It's almost like it's not shifting back into the gear correctly. So with these bigger tires, we'll see how it is. Again, as I mentioned, we'll leave vehicles in the way as long as we can, unless they cause an issue for us. Alright, so this part is a little bit tricky. Kind of go around it. Alright, and we're up. Bigger tires make a big difference here. I also should have mentioned, if the vehicle falls off the course at all, I will also disqualify it. So some of these that launch very quickly might just end up shooting itself off the map, or off at least the track here. So discard those if that happens. So far, this is doing pretty good. It's probably not going to make it up that. So let's go around. See if we can, maybe. Oh, actually, that's impressive. Easier ways over here, so we'll take that. Yeah. This is kind of tricky. You gotta do this at an angle. Some of these. Handled that pretty well. You also notice I've strategically placed these cranes. I ran a few test runs and there were some spots that I always got stuck, so I put the cranes close to the spots that I always got stuck in. Figured it'd be better than running off to go get those cranes later. These tires are quite skinny, so this is actually a lot more challenging, I think. Made it up that, no problem. We can make it up over these. Too bad. Again, you can kind of see the suspension. That back doesn't really separate. It's a solid axle, which is what it should be, but that's what's kind of causing the challenge here a little bit. This part's hard as well because you gotta hit this on just the right angle to make it up both sides. So we'll try to get some speed. But the transmission's causing issues again. And use this rock. These tires might not be able to do this for us. A few more attempts. Just keeps hitting the front of it. Cheat it. No. Yeah, that's not happening. And then there's another way around this. Alright. I'll just leave that there. Let's move on. So here we have a GMC Denali pickup truck. This is a 3500 model. Pretty good looking model. Very detailed, I'd say. Got something going on with the roof though. I don't know if you guys can see that in the video here. It's like two-tone. It's almost like something kind of happened there. This is a dually. This is what you would see pretty much a stock dually Denali. You pick up at a dealership just as is. Again, model's good. Driving pretty fast here. A lot of body roll when you take turns. But again, that's pretty realistic, so you probably would see that. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I can definitely notice the roof. It's definitely two-toned there. That's not supposed to be. Slight issue with that. A little bit of drift. Again, I'm a little worried about this one's approach angle because it's pretty tight. Also, it's very long. I don't know that it's even going to make it up there, actually. And it's stuck. So, long vehicles probably don't work either. This one, if you guys are fans of Whistling Diesel's channel, this is Whistling Diesel's truck. And it's modified it into the game. Pretty sure this was a 19 mod. Saw it on the squad, and someone's probably converted it. Definitely has issues. Not gonna lie, it doesn't look like it was converted properly to 22. So like the interior's pretty well glitched. I don't know that I would call this a favorite, even if it does make the challenge. But pretty sick. So this would be fun for a lot of videos. Another problem I have with this one, in particular with the exhaust extension mod that I like to use, is PC mod, script mod, that increases the exhaust particles that come out, and so it gives you that really big smoke cloud and allows you to modify it even further and make it even a bigger smoke cloud. Yeah, that caused a bunch of Lua script errors with this truck because it doesn't actually have exhaust particles. So it actually broke the game. And I had to quit out and redo everything. So definitely was looking for mod conflicts when I was doing this as well, and seeing if the mods I mainly use, especially if it's things that I'm using when I'm on multiplayer, because a lot of those servers, I don't necessarily own which mods are on there. Like, that's up to kind of whoever I'm playing with. So we're gonna actually just move this GMC truck out of the way because it's just directly in the middle of the track. And although I've already messed up the bottom of it, I don't want to mess up all of it. Just have to remember how to use the crane. Almost. Now this Traverse, I don't know if everybody saw my short, but when this Traverse came out, I had an idea to figure out, basically, because it's got tension straps, can it pick up a vehicle? And the answer is, it absolutely can. It's not the prettiest looking when you do it, because it does it off of the tension belt position, but it does work. So we'll use that to move things out of the way. And those Volvos are quite heavy, so they work really well for those. So again, we had some issues with this truck, just with conflicts and everything along those lines, but it does look really nice. And big tires, the big suspension, it's probably not going to have a problem through most of this course. If I guess correctly, this thing would probably make it through, at least the towing part. I don't think it's got quite the power that's needed. It's pretty top heavy. But it does have the tires and the suspension to be able to kind of do what we need to. So just kind of go over the hard part. It should go right over this. It also launches, which not always the best for this type of track, just because you need more precision. But you can see nothing's really standing in its way whatsoever. It's kind of unfair I wasn't paying attention. There we go. Alright. So almost flip it over on top of that. So with the tires being a little bit wider, it should be easy to get across this. Yeah, it's not having problems at all. It's not going to be a problem for this truck either. Got the huge wheels, it's really just a matter of not flipping it. So far my take on this one is I think this would be really cool for videos and things. There's this big crater, this big crack. If you kind of get stuck in there, the wheels kind of glitch out on certain vehicles, so you have to be really, really careful. But yeah, so this one would be kind of cool for some roleplay videos. I don't know that I would necessarily, even if this does win, I don't know that I would necessarily use this as a main time-lapse series or roleplay series vehicle. Probably just use it for some shorts or something along those lines, because it does look interesting. Not too bad. It's definitely getting stuck on some of these things, which makes sense because they've got collisions on those drawbars that go down. So that would actually be realistic. So I'm actually not even upset about it. bridge here has got some big gaps in it, so if the tires aren't big enough to ride the edge of the rails, you end up falling into this. Maybe across that, again, no problem. This part's going to be tough. You need to have just the right amount of articulation, and if you don't, okay, that's going to be it for this truck. I had high hopes. That's pretty tricky. You notice I'm kind of centered here. Same problem we had on the other two rocks. Thought it was just my driving, but it's happening again here. Just that really just doesn't have the travel that we need to kind of get across. So can't leave this one here. We're going to end up needing to crane that out, or using super strength. So easy because I don't think I have a crane up here. And we'll just lift that. That right there. Actually, looks pretty good right there. You can see the suspension travel actually when I do that, so it's not too bad. Alright, let's go back and let's take this purple thing. This is a Ram 3500. This is not the Elk Mountain modding one. I believe Elk Mountain modding does the other one. This is a Mega Cab short pad. This was actually a pretty cool truck in America. So it looks like kind of the 2018 style Ram. It's actually very quick. Model's pretty good. There definitely are some log errors. If we get this one far enough through the track, I'll show that as well. Basically, it's got some configuration issues where the configurations weren't lined up properly. So there's log errors. Now, for those of you that download more exclusively off of ModHub or if you're on console, log error means that there's something the mod is trying to do that the game doesn't accept. And so you'll get these errors, and if you are a modder, you kind of want to check those and you make sure that that's not an issue. This is really long, so this might actually get stuck here as well. So on those log errors, you want to fix those and make it so that it can play really well. We're gonna fall off. All right, that's it for that one. I'll just leave that just like that. So, Giants, if you submit a mod through them, this is the new F350 mod. Nope, never mind. Forgot I was in the wrong line. This is a Ram Rebel. Pretty cool truck in real life. Jesus, that's quick. We're gonna probably roll this thing as we're getting to the field, I imagine. So Giants will make you correct all of those log errors. So that's why when you get something off of ModHub, you know it's in a good spot. You know that you're not going to have any conflicts or anything along those lines. Whereas if you get the mods from elsewhere, they don't require that type of testing. So it's kind of up to the modder to say whether or not that error is going to be big enough. So this thing's very quick. It's pretty good. It's probably be a lot of fun on any gameplay. Do like it's got the glass roof like the real one. Does go up that. It's not too bad. The problem with speed a lot of times though is you see it kind of get lunged here through things. So I can't really be as precise as I was before. Not too bad. Doesn't have a tremendous amount of ground clearance, so you're gonna probably run into some issues with that. See if we can kind of get across those. There we go. Not too bad. We have to go up this way. Just make the other path. Go the easy way on this. I am a little bit nervous about this thing going over the logs. this on a very, very sharp angle. This part is quite hard for a lot of vehicles because it's very steep. We got one tire up. Turn enough. Jeez. Okay. Let's save. There we go. I don't want to get stuck on any rocks though. Now let's see if we can make it across this. If we can get on this. There's a very small lip I'm trying to get on. You can see the tires are in right at it, but the front bumper's just kind of hitting on this. Speed and power. Speed and power. Here we go. Jeez. Nope. Nope. Okay, that's not moving. Just leave that there. Alright, on to the next one. This is the Hummer H something. This is the new electric version of the Hummer that's out there. Someone created a model for it. I'm online. It's pretty cool looking. Do have some issues. It doesn't have its own shadow. So I guess electric cars don't have shadows. The tow hitch does, and I do, me personally, in the vehicle. It's also not riding on the ground. I don't know if you can see that, but the wheels are actually floating in the air. Huh. Oh, jeez. Who put that there? It is beautiful looking. Shadow issues and tire floating issues aside, I mean, the roof's really, really nice. Interior's pretty detailed. Let's see if they can make up any of this. It is a Hummer, so it should do better than that. Give it one more try. To be honest, I've already ruled this out just because of the other issues, so we'll just kind of park that over here. Really not the best vehicle. Alright, moving on. This vehicle has a few different variants. It's kind of like an old Chevy pickup truck with GMC. Actually, you can do it either way because you can switch the grill. You can do a log bed with tension support. You can put a regular bed on it. You can get it dirty like this and all like rusted. Some good tires. We have exhaust on this, which I haven't seen on many of these yet. So definitely good sense of details in here. Good body roll, good suspension. Does have a gooseneck hitch, which a lot of them also haven't had. So far, it seems actually impressive. The crane in the bed there is not functional, but it does look cool. Alright, so bigger tires. Shouldn't have a problem here. It's pretty heavy too, so it's actually holding to it and not sliding off the track, which I like. Huh. It's doing pretty well. Until I drive into things. Alright. Can we do it over the easy part? I say easy. Easier for me because I don't have to drive around. Yeah. Quite impressive. Okay. Alright, now let's go around this bend. Let's see how it does with the logs. That is impressive. It doesn't even care about the rocks. Got a just random ramp chilling here on this. tires are narrow, so it's a little tough through here. But that's, wow. Went right through that. Okay. Go up and over these logs. It'll be tough for a lot of vehicles just because the bumper is going to keep hitting them. Again, best approach, just kind of go on an angle or get between them, and yep, just like that. Not too bad. Not bad at all. Actually, let's see how it does with the crack here. See if the tires get stuck in the spot. Oh wow. A little bit. That wasn't bad at all. It is a little longer, so it's a little bit tough here. Steering, but it's no issue. This thing's pretty good. Very good, actually. Oh, look at that. Doesn't even care. Now, these tires are kind of small, so I'm worried about it on the bridge. It does have tension straps. All of them, including on that roof bit, which is very nice. Put lots of things on this. So you gotta alternate here. You gotta go a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, a little bit the other way. Just get around the collisions and try not to get stuck, like I just did. Come on, truck. I really like this one. I don't want this one to get stuck. Okay. Really, really careful. This isn't looking good. If I can just get the front over, the back's wider. Speed and power. There we go. Okay. Nothing's gotten past this yet. Can we do it in this? Oh, suspension travel is actually working really well for that. Wow, it was like nothing. Super easy for it. Okay, this is just like a drop onto logs, so. And then you gotta go over more logs. We're gonna need a little bit more speed so we can hop that. There we go. Can we make it over this log? Around that. We can go around it. There we go. There's a few ways around this part. We're gonna go this way for this path. Uh-oh. 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 Can I fix it? Can I fix it? Come on. Just don't fall off the rocks. I haven't made it this far in any other truck yet. This is, okay. Imagine in real life if I was rock climbing, it'd be probably a lot less calm than I am right now. This is intense, even in a game. Alright, so now I gotta go over these two very tiny logs. Make sure we're lined up. Alright. Almost. Okay. Up and over, up and over. No big deal. Alright, the rest of this is very easy. It's mostly a big downhill section here. There we go. There we go. Try not to eat it on the way down. And I'm just gonna go over the barrels. Not too bad. These pallets really help. You have all of these weird stumps. Alright. Over. It's a little faster. Okay. Too fast. Too fast. Too fast. Too fast. Okay, still not a big deal. I think the weight's really good in this one. The center of gravity is just about perfect. Alright, it's the first one that made it, so we'll just kind of park this here. We'll see how many other vehicles can make it to the second part, and we'll go from there. Seems like a lot are going to be eliminated. This is a older Dodge Ram 3500 Dually. This model's pretty cool. Looks like a model that I used in 19. Not sure if it's converted properly. Not sure if it's been converted by the original modder. Quite quick. Should have to slow down for the training. Yeah, it definitely wasn't converted by the original modder. You can see the dash is pretty messed up. The gauges do not work. And I can see through the visor. Or you can see that bit of sky in there. So, drive's pretty good. However, don't know that I'd be able to use this one either because it's kind of terrible. Outside looks nice though. A lot of people had these trucks growing up. A lot of people I know bought the older trucks, or people that I knew when I was even younger had these. They're very popular where I live. It's quite long though, so we'll see if we can. It's realistic. It's a very long-looking truck. This was even before they really had crew cabs, and it was just a long, big-looking truck in real life. With that length, it's going to be kind of tough to make this corner, but we'll see what we can do here. Nope. I'm really hoping I can just kind of climb that edge with the big tires on here. I don't really have to do it the other way. Alright. That's fine. Still made it. It's okay. Make it up this bit. The sound on this though too, very good. It's not quite the sound of a real one. I do remember the sound of the real one pretty prominently, but it does sound pretty good. This being pretty low bumpers on this sport trim, it's going to be a little tough to do this, but yeah. That's unfortunate. Come on. Come on. Speed. Nope. Alright, we'll just kind of take this out of here then. Maybe. Nope, never mind. Alright, that's total. It's still running. Alright. Moving on. Switch back over. Last one in the first line. This is a what appears to be 2007 GMC pickup truck. It's a Denali as well. Got some big tires on it. It's pretty quiet. Big turbo. A little bit of speed. I do like that hitch. It's quite the drop. And that antenna is going to come in handy for talking to truck drivers. That turbo whistle is just constant, isn't it? Okay. Alright. Side note, I do like that Jim's got just cows and wildlife just walking around this. Let's see what we got. It's pretty good. Pretty good indeed. I'm glad that the modder went for the shorter bed on this, otherwise this thing would be just as long as that last truck. Doing pretty good. Nope. Okay. Very good suspension. Oh wow. Alright. No big deal. Can we make it across this? Delicate. Oh. Tires aren't quite the right size. There you go. Almost. I don't know if I can go backwards. Come on, we're so close. I had high hopes. I really did. It's not moving. Okay. So, let's get that one out of the way. A minute. Alright, moving on. This is the new at the time of recording this, the new F350 mod, the Lizard F350. This is a 19 mod. The modder just brought forward to 22. It's basically a Lizard version of the Ford F-Series pickup truck. Models are beautiful. In 22, we added the ability to have a bunch of different front sections, so different grills and different lights. You can make it look like a Ford Raptor. You can make it look like a 90s Ford, 2000s Ford, 2010s Ford. Just really nice. I've got the Raptor front on this. The Raptor lights with the modern grille. Is that really good? We've got the low profile bumper, so we got more clearance. And this bed, I thought was pretty cool. It's got that fifth wheel on there. It does come in a 2-door, 4-door, and a short bed, long bed. I do need the 4-door for what I'm looking to do. One of my requirements is having the ability to have passenger mod on these. So having passenger mod is good for when you're playing with multiple people or you're trying to get, I like to film from inside the vehicle a lot, so that's an important aspect for me. Just push Storm's truck there out of the way. There we go. So I would prefer to have 4-door if I could. So I got this one in 4-door. And yeah, that's it for that one. I'm gonna have to move that out of the way. That was the longer bed longer bed version. So I'm not surprised it got stuck there. Tires basically just can't touch 2 points at once in that situation. Which it's okay. We've got a couple other variants of this that are in the lineup, so I wouldn't say this is totally out of the way yet. But the long bed version is not going to work. Doing this, you guys are probably wondering, well, why do I need a truck that can go over a rock climber? Well, sometimes bad things happen in Farming Simulator, and you get stuck in the woods. You've got to drive over trees when you're doing logging, field, it's bumpy. You never know kind of what way it's going to play out. So having something that can kind of go over this tells me that I'll be able to go over anything else in the game without too much trouble. Get this Chevy out of the way while we're back here too, just to clear the path because I forgot about it. It'd be unfortunate if I got here with the next vehicle. So just be very careful so that I don't end up in the water with this thing. Okay. No, I'm probably gonna end up in the water, aren't I? Yeah, we'll just leave that there. That actually looks great. Amount of carnage. Could you imagine how much insurance I would need if this was... Just park the excavator out of the way. Excavator, loader, whatever you want to call it. Moving on. So here we have a very short F-150. You can see how tiny it is next to the TLX trucks there. So I don't think this one's going to do very well at all, but it is an F-150 with fifth wheel hitch in the back. It's nice looking. It does look realistic. To be honest though, real world F-150 base FX4 from this era probably wouldn't rock crawl too well. So I don't know that this is the best environment for this guy, but we'll see kind of how it plays out. Roof's nice. Do like a good panoramic roof. It's good for views inside. You're getting a little bit of lag on this one too. Actually, could just be the lag from how many vehicles we've just trashed inside this area. So, yeah, it's not gonna make it. Didn't think it would, so I'll just kind of park that there. Looks like a Ford commercial. All right, next up. The TLX lineup here. A few TLX trucks back to back. This is the new one. It's the 2022. If you've seen in some of 82 Studios videos, he's talked a lot about this mod. This mod's fantastic. Storm has this currently on our Upper Mississippi River save. It's very quick. I have this maxed out on speed as well. Very, very quick. Good exhaust. Good looking truck. Got the bigger tires on here. Speed may be too much, kind of saying. So, as I was saying, 82 Studios in videos, he's talked about this vehicle quite a bit. And this one's, it's unforgiving. What it is it's just like raw power. Kind of do whatever with it. But you have to really try to control this vehicle. The vehicle's not going to do much in a way of making sure that you're not making mistakes. So any mistake you make are going to be amplified with this thing. And it's just because it's just got so much power and the way that it's geared and everything. So far, so good. You see, it got very quickly to where we are here. Doesn't quite have the tire size to easily get up that section. See? Doesn't quite have the approach angle either of some of the other trucks that have made it through. The front bumper's pretty low, so I am concerned that it may not make it too far here. We'll see how it does over the log pile. You see that back tire just poking through the bed. Yeah, it's not bad. I'll take it. It doesn't do well with these smaller rocks either. It's not bad, I would say. It's just not what we go on. So this, I'm intimidated for this because it seems like anything that stumbles on the logs gets kind of stuck here. Almost. having that tire stuck on that log is not really helping me. I think it was quite wide enough. Yeah. Alright, that's stuck. It is nice though. Do like the mirrors fold in and everything. Got 2 inches. Just kind of pick that up and put that back here. Give it one more shot. Here's the GMC. Give it another shot here just to see if maybe it was me. Yep. It does the same thing. Just kind of falls right off, but the tires aren't wide enough, or at least the frame's not wide enough to kind of make it sit properly on these. We'll just kind of get it off of that. Okay. Sorry, 82 Studios. So now we have the older model here, the 3500, TLX 3500. This one came out on 19. It's a really good mod on 19. Brought it to 22, really good. Notice I've got it in the crew cab configuration, Lamborghini orange. I've also put the TLX winch in the back. I do like having a winch on trucks if we can. And so I wanted to try with this one in particular, which is all TLX, to see if I could put the winch back there on this one, as this one doesn't have an option for a winch. And it worked pretty well. You're able to still use the gooseneck hitch as well and still have a winch back there. So I quite like it. Where's over here? Exhaust is nice. Big beefy tires. Now this one comes in a lot of configurations, so we're going to try a few different TLX models throughout, the 3500 in particular. But let's see how it does in this configuration first. So far, not an issue whatsoever. Great amount of suspension travel. Not getting hung up on the middle at all. Having these big tires, no issue here whatsoever. Great control, it's not launching. It does have good speed, but it's not geared in a way where it's going to just take off on you. As I mentioned with the last one, I heard in some of 82 Studios videos that this one's more designed to be a lot more forgiving. It's going to kind of handle your inputs a lot better and be a lot more delicate. If you make a mistake, it's going to kind of minimize that so you don't get into too many problems. No issue whatsoever so far. It's a really nice model. This one's also cross-platform. One of the few that we've tested that have been. This will work on anything. He does that with all of his mods, which I very much appreciate. Very hardworking modder. No issue there whatsoever. Didn't even think of the problem. Dropping over. Again, no problem. Wow. Control is just amazing. This thing stops perfectly. It can hold on hills. It's just, I'm impressed so far. And it's long, right? Like this is a full-size pickup truck. Not having any issue here. Let's run some lights. It's a little dark back here. Lights are good. You get big visibility. They're pointed in the correct direction. So you'll see some of these mods where the lights aren't actually emitting from where the lights are supposed to. So they'll just kind of show up in various spots. Not an issue. Those glitches you see in the bed are actually from the winch. They're not from the model. It's just because I have the winch a little bit too high up. You can lower it so it doesn't do that. So don't think that that's the. It's not by any means the modder's fault. That's my fault. Let's see how it does over here. Okay, no big deal. And can you make it? Not a problem. Oh, okay, it fell off a little bit. This is what happened to this thing diesel truck. But it's able to correct itself. That's really impressive. It does have four-wheel drive, like true four-wheel drive, not just visually. It's actually spinning all of the wheels, so I think that's a big help in some of these areas. Look at that suspension travel, not a problem. This is steep through here. Again, not even an issue. We'll go around it because we cheated with the GMC. No big deal. Go down through here. This is really sketchy. Oh wow, it was much better than the other truck did. I am impressed. Can't make it over the tetanus bars here. Not an issue. And across the very narrow tracks here. Really small logs. No issue. This feels like cheating. It's so easy. Wow. All right, down the hill. This is all. It's pretty much home free. Alrighty, as long as I don't flip on something. I'm too excited when I see the end line here. Up and over. No problem. Look at that. I mean, it didn't even get hung up on the middle at all. Let's give it a little bit. Not an issue. Okay, we'll park this in the winner circle down here. Very nice. Alright, moving on. So many cars back here. Okay, another TLX. This one's got the flatbed on it. Different tires. So we'll see if this one does any different. Got the snorkel in case we go underwater or anything along those lines. We got the same engine configuration though, so really here we're just looking at, do tires and bed make any difference? I don't think the bed's gonna really affect us at all, because it's not like it drops down any further, but I did want to just rule that out because you never know. Big thing here is tires, not driving into the orchards. Actually, a good point, good segue here to talk about this map a little bit more. So this map has, beyond just the testing of the rock roll, 82 Studios has set up multiple productions on this. He's got all different types of crops. He's got animals. He's got massive hills for jumps and things, which we're going to leverage a little bit later. Trees. He's just got a little bit of everything. This one, for being a map that's supposed to be just for testing and everything along those lines, this actually got a perfect score from Farmer Klein as well. When Farmer Klein did his mod map review on it. It's been great. But also really appreciate about 82 Studios is just how much detail and attention he puts into things. What you'll notice with a lot of his maps is it's rare that his maps even get an update. And if he does get an update, it's usually not game breaking or anything along those lines. I don't think this map's ever actually been updated. All of the changes Giants made, all the new things that have happened with the game, he's never had to make an update on this map, which just really goes to show how thoroughly he tested every detail of it. Not that updates are bad, don't get me wrong, you want to be able to deploy changes and things, but it's really cool if you can kind of rely on that there isn't an update, especially if it's a game-breaking update where you have to start a new save game. Those kind of give me trust issues, some of them, but I'm never worried about it with those. Alright, so no problem whatsoever. The tires don't seem to make a huge difference. We're able to do very much the same kind of pace here as the last one. If anything faster, just because I just did it in this exact same truck, slightly different configuration. So if it seems to be going faster, it's just because I'm very comfortable in this truck now. Even when it gets stuck, you can still get out of pretty much any situation. It's a very impressive model. Obviously, this one came from Mod Hub, like everything 82 Studios does. There's no errors, no glitches. Works on every console, or every console. It does work on every console, but it also works on every platform. So this is a good mod. Although I don't play on console anymore, I did for many years, and the reason why I do still appreciate the console ready mods is because I do play on a lot of cross-play servers. So I have a lot of friends that play on console, and there's a lot of servers we play on that are set up for both console and PC. And so if it is a truck that I can use on both, that does get bonus points for me, just simply for the fact that I can use it anywhere, any map, any game, any device. It's fantastic. Oh no. I got a little bit too excited there. Can we correct it? Or it's pretty slopey. I don't know if we're going to be able to fix this. Maybe if we just fall. There we go. We did a barrel roll too. Alright, cool. No big deal. Nobody saw that. I will say I haven't had a lot of opportunity to use this truck in gameplay lately. We do have it on Stevie's server, on one of the Ohio map we play together. He's got 2 of these, and that's what reminded me of how good they were. I had kind of forgotten about it in the sea of how many mods have come out, and so him having it and us using it in Ohio really kind of reminded me how much I love this thing on 19. This is my go-to truck back in 19. This and the EMR truck, which we have the converted version here that we're going to test in a minute too. Even in first person, look at that mirror, just massive. Great visibility. If I was driving this, I probably wouldn't have hit Big T that day. The mirrors are just way bigger. Alright, park this in the winter circle 2 next to the other TLX pickup truck. Alright, next up, we have this goofy looking mod. All the wheels are like this. You can see how ridiculously small they are next to the GMC there. It's got a little startup sound. Should be pretty realistic for a Ford. Don't have a Ford logo on the back. This is kind of F350 style. I'd say probably 2012, 2014, somewhere in there based on the headlights. The tires are ridiculous. We have a pretty good smoke cloud. Keep in mind I don't have the exhaust mod on, so this is what the exhaust looks like on this thing. This isn't enhanced in any way because some of the other vehicles can't handle that, so we have to keep that model off. It's a little out of control with these tiny tires. Very goofy looking. I don't know that I'd use this, and it's also very long. It's probably not going to make it up those. Okay, alright, alright. Shooting itself off the track. Definitely not four-wheel drive. You can see that there. Alright, let's just see. Yeah. Technically already lost. Just give it another shot there. Yeah, it's not gonna work. Alright, moving on. This beast comes in many colors. You don't have to get it in gold. I just thought it looked ridiculous. It's got that huge tow hook on the back. It's a GMC Sierra. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Got a hood stack. It actually works though. That's impressive. I haven't seen one of those yet. This is like. This is pretty insane. Look at those massive rims too. I do like this. The GMC Sierra. It's quite quick. Good sound. Alright, alright. I'm into it. Handles pretty good. Let's see how well it rock climbs then. It's just getting tight through here. These ancillary vehicles. Okay. Alright, alright. Okay, not bad. Maybe on an angle. There we go, okay. Alright. Come on. Not a problem. Can do it. Okay. Alright. Made it. Jeez. It's got a collision in the front. So I kind of jumped to the side there. Let's see if we can go around that by just... Yeah. Okay. Alright. Like I said before, I've noticed if they do struggle with that first log, it's pretty unlikely they make it across this log track because that rock wall is very steep. And they only get steeper as you go up to that next part, as we've seen. Tires are quite narrow. Jeez. This is not easy. It is very, very delicately. But then I won't be able to get speed. Okay. 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 Nope. Nope. Alright, okay. That was lost for words. Didn't think that was gonna work. Oh, there's that collision again. So what I mean by collision is there's like a spot that seems to be on the front of this that if it touches anything, it just like conflicts with anything that's out there. This one does have several small script issues that come up when you're trying to configure it. So, oh, yep, there's the collision. And it's only in that front bit. As you can see, once you get past that, it's not a big deal, but I don't think that's going to go well for us as we get to the rest of this challenge. Can we make it up those? Okay. That's very steep. Alright, that's impressive. Not too bad. Those narrow tires are going to be tricky through here. Kind of going to go onto the left side. That seems to be easier. You have small tires. Okay. Okay. Alright, okay, we made it. Alright. It's not bad. Alright, now with how narrow this thing is in that collision, let's see if we can make it across the bridge. You can see it's narrower than the bridge, so we're just going to have to go side by side here and catch the boards as best we can. Oh. Haven't gotten stuck on this bridge yet. Let's not make this the first. That collision. You just see it just jump every time anything touches that spot. I'm worried about this spot with the collision because the front's gonna get hit. Is it gonna just like launch itself into the sky? Or is it just gonna get stuck the same way the other truck did? Yeah. Alright, so it seems to be the same problem, the other model. Yeah. You can see exactly what happened. What's weird is it's almost got, you can see it's floating, right? So what's happened is the collision for that cross member is actually much lower than it is visually. So that's why both of those got stuck. We still got quite a few vehicles left, but not too bad so far. Should be able to kind of speed up through some of these. This is another Ram Rebel. It's a different model from the last one. I think this is actually the TREX or whatever the new one is that just came out. TREX. In real life, this is like the fastest Ram that you can buy. It's made for off-roading right out the gate. It's pretty nice looking. Very quick. No real exhaust, but that would make sense because I think this is gas in real life, so you wouldn't have black smoke. And not hit the dog. Good suspension travel. I'm feeling pretty confident about this one. If we remember right though, the other one that was a similar model couldn't make it up past the bridge. This one can't make it past the Hummer. Let's just kind of move that out of the way temporarily. Looks great. Alright, as we make this one up here. So for those of you that have stuck with me so far, or maybe jumped to this section, this format I'm doing where I'm talking a bit through these, like I said, I felt it was better for this style of contest where I couldn't really do time lapse, wanted to explain things as I went, didn't want to have a bunch of subtitles. I wanted you guys to be able to just watch the action, or possibly have this in the background. So that one's obviously stuck. We're going to take this last GMC out. But for those of you that are still with me, just let me know in the comments. Let me know if this format kind of works for this. If there's something you wish I did different. There are going to be a lot more challenges, and some of these challenges, like this one, where I had to just, that was very quick, I had to just test out a bunch of different things. Some of them are going to be longer, some are going to be shorter. Generally, a normal time lapse is about 3 hours plus of recording to get about a 20-minute video. So you can see just how much that speed and cutting really changes these things. When you don't cut it and you just watch the video full, it'll be a lot longer. Same deal with this one. If I had time lapse this, I probably could have made it into about an hour video. Camera would have been a little bit jumpy and would have been a little bit unclear to kind of understand what I was trying to do in this, but let me know in the comments. Let me know if you think that this works for certain challenges, or if you like this better, just in general. If you like this better for most, then you can do some actual plays this way too. Now this Chevy is not forgiving at all. It's Chevy GMC. It launches, so it's geared in a way that this thing just takes off. I think that's going to cause us some problems. It does have a gooseneck hitch, a long bed as well, and a pintle hitch on the back. But even though it's not a crew cab, it just feels long. It ain't going up that. It's way too steep. You can barely even make it over the log. That's okay. Oh man. I don't think it's going to make it over any logs. That front is very, very low. It's getting stuck even in any of these divots. It's stuck there. We're going to give it the best try though. So this model seems to be good if you want a fast truck on flat ground. Nope. You can see it's just not forgiving. Okay, that'll stay there. On to the next row. So here we have a F-150 with what looks like a King Ranch logo on the back. This is kind of what you would see. Very similar to what you kind of see coming out the store, with some basic modifications. Someone might have put some antennas on this thing. You can see we've got a similar problem to the blue one that we tried earlier, different modder, but this one, very similar model. You can see we've got that same very low entry point at the bottom, the front bumper. So I think we're probably going to have the same issue. We might not even be able to get on the track with this one, like the blue one. It's better for the blue one. Just kidding. I don't think it did. Okay. Nope. Yeah, I don't think there's any. I can't save this. Hey, all four wheels do spin though. Alright, moving on. Not technically a truck, but it's a mod hub mod that's out there. The Jeep. Don't think it's really going to tow anything, but figured maybe it would be interesting. These tires are pretty tiny. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I was thinking when I picked this one, let's be honest. But see how it plays out here. The noise kind of sounds like if you put a baseball card in a bicycle tire, if I'm honest. It's not bad. They actually make these in America. They've got these kits that you can buy that are just that body, and you can kind of put it on whatever frame you want. So these are pretty common for enthusiasts. Yeah, no, I don't think this is going to make any of it. Alright, it's just going to be another rock decor that we get to keep out here. Just kind of nope. Yeah, let's just kind of leave that there. That's now part of that. Okay, so here we have another model. This is a the F350. This is the Lizard model. So what this one is what we tested before, except we've got a slightly different configuration on this one. So we've got a different hitch, we've got a different front on it, we've got this short bed on there, we've got some different tires. So perhaps this one will do a little bit better. We're going to find out. Like I said, on some of these ones that had some very different configurations, yeah, it doesn't want to turn. Or maybe I wasn't paying attention. I'll leave that up to you. So with these ones that had different configurations, and we're on Mod Hub, I wanted to kind of try out the different configurations, just give them really a good shot at winning here, and see if they made any differences on these configurations. So this is getting a little bit ridiculous. We're probably gonna have to move some of this. There we go. Who needs a crane? Just drive into it. Not too bad. Nice looking truck. Got the Raptor rear bumper on this. Got some lighting on the top. Really, really, really nice. I do like that he's really used some of the cool details from Ford trucks in real life and just kind of brought them in here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That one did have the higher up engine, I believe. No, maybe there aren't any engines on that one. Either way, we have another one to test. So. Yeah, this thing's insane. So this is the new monster truck, multi-wheel steering, and yeah, this is quite quick. So the engine shakes the whole body. This is fun. I can't even drive it in a straight line. You can lock the rear, that it doesn't do that, but I think we do want that articulation for rock crawling. So let's just turn on the HUD real quick, because I want to take a look at how to switch the steering mode. So we'll switch that over real quick. Now I'm using a PlayStation controller with Xbox labels on PC. So it may look a little bit weird for you, but there we go. Now it actually drives straight, so that's much better. Okay. Wasn't doing this thing justice with the four-wheel steering on before. You really don't want four-wheel steering at high speed, and I'm sure that counts fine. It is very hard to control this, but it should work out well. Got the ground clearance and everything, the big tires, got incredible power. We're just gonna make our own path. Yeah, that's fine. This thing's just ridiculous. Very unforgiving when you're driving this thing. It's just all over the place. Promise you, I'm driving this the exact same way I drove all the other ones, so it's 100% this thing. Sounds are good though. It wants to go up here, so we'll just do that. Wow. We're gonna have to take it really careful so we don't fall off this. I think the tires don't have super great friction either. As you can see, I slide quite a bit as I'm going through things. Okay, not too bad. Now with the wide tires, I'm not too worried about any of those. Should be no problem. Oh yeah, even if I kind of go off there a little bit, it's not a problem. You can still hear the engines running down there. Turning's a bit tough, so in some of these you probably would want to, some of these you probably would want to keep that four-wheel steering on, but with how unstable that was, it'd be a little bit easier to maintain, I think, for me. Keep them off. There we go. Keep them on for this next part. And it's just gonna make it easier to make this turn. This thing pretty much drives over anything. It's really not even an issue for it. It sounds like a freaking race car. Alright, try this a little bit different. Nope. Now the unfortunate thing about this is there is no tow hook on this, so if it does make it to the towing challenge, we're gonna have to see if we can try like a pickup hitch or something and see if we can put a hitch on it. If we get that far. It's not looking promising so far. I can't go slow enough to get up the thing. It's like as soon as you touch the gas, it just takes off, which when you're facing on any sort of angle is not a good situation. Jeez. I'll just do that. Okay, yep, I'm just making my own way. The sounds are just incredible. Alright, next up we'll go across this sketchy bridge. And I think the biggest problem with this is just that it launches, which is good in most situations when you're trying to be precision with something like a track like this. It does create a lot of challenge. So like these are a lot trickier if you can't kind of control the speed. Now I'm gonna fall off this cliff. Okay, let's just try to be very, very careful this time. I don't really want to do that whole dance around the cliff again. You know what? That's good enough. That's good enough. I'm okay with it. It's I can't even describe it, guys. As soon as you hit the gas, it just kind of goes wherever it wants to. So I really don't have a sense of control in this thing. It's more or less just like wherever you're pointed, that's the direction it's going to go. So make sure you're pointed the way you want to before you hit that gas pedal. Alright, so this you have to be very delicate. That's not good. Very delicate with. I just gotta get it out of here and line this up. Okay. I can fix this. Yeah. Oh. We're back. I wasn't able to save it. So that's the first half of vehicles. We'll continue this in part 2.